In recent times, one particular emotional moment has caught the attention of millions around the world. Selena Gomez, a beloved actress, singer, and activist, breaking out in tears while speaking out about the Trump administration's deportation efforts. This moment of vulnerability came in the midst of a fierce national debate over immigration policies, specifically the heightened focus on deportations and the separation of families. When Donald Trump assumed office in 2017, one of his most controversial moves was to aggressively pursue policies aimed at increasing deportations of undocumented immigrants, particularly targeting those who had lived in the United States for years. These policies affected not only undocumented individuals, but also had a ripple effect on families, creating fear and uncertainty for millions of people. The administration's approach, which sought to eliminate protections for undocumented immigrants, including the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals DACA program, left many wondering how they would continue to live in the country they had made their home for so long. Among those who have been most vocal in response to these policies is Selena Gomez. Known not only for her role in entertainment, but also for her philanthropic efforts, Selena has been a fierce advocate for social justice. Her family's Mexican roots have long shaped her perspective on the struggles of immigrant communities in the U.S. And as someone who has faced her own personal challenges, she is deeply empathetic to the struggles of those living in fear of deportation. Her reaction to the Trump administration's policies was deeply emotional. Selena, during a public appearance, couldn't hold back her tears as she shared the pain she felt on behalf of the immigrant families who were being torn apart. Her tears weren't just a personal expression of sorrow, but a powerful response to the collective grief of millions of people living with the constant threat of being separated from their loved ones. For many immigrants, the fear of deportation wasn't just an abstract political issue. It was a terrifying, tangible reality that they lived with every single day. Families who had built lives in the U.S. were suddenly at risk of being forcibly removed, leaving them to wonder if they would ever see their families again. The emotional toll of this uncertainty weighed heavily on children, parents, and entire communities who struggled with the anxiety of potential separation. Selena's emotional reaction was a reminder that behind every policy there were human beings, mothers, fathers, children, whose lives would be irrevocably changed by the stroke of a pen. Selena's breakdown was not just an isolated moment of emotion. It reflected a larger, ongoing struggle that many in the Latinx and immigrant communities face. Having been raised in a Mexican-American family, Selena is no stranger to the difficulties that come with being an immigrant in the U.S. She has spoken about the challenges her family faced and the importance of empathy when dealing with immigration issues. Throughout her career, Selena has used her platform to raise awareness about the struggles of the immigrant community, speaking out against policies that she believes tear families apart. Her tears were a call to action, an urgent plea for others to take a step back and consider the human impact of immigration policies. She emphasized the need for compassion, understanding, and empathy when discussing such sensitive issues. Selena's breakdown wasn't just a moment of sorrow. It was a powerful statement of solidarity with the millions of people affected by the policies she was speaking out against. It's important to recognize the broader emotional toll that the deportation efforts under the Trump administration have had on families across the nation. Immigrants, many of whom have lived in the U.S. for decades, were suddenly being viewed through the lens of criminalization. Despite their contributions to society, families were living in constant fear that one day, without warning, they would be torn apart. For children who had known no other home than the U.S., the idea of losing their parents or being sent to a country they had never known was an unbearable thought. This is the kind of reality Selena was confronting in her emotional outpouring. It wasn't just about policy or politics. It was about the lives of real people, the children who would be left without parents, and the emotional devastation that families were facing. When Selena spoke up, it wasn't just a reaction to a political agenda. It was a reaction to human suffering. Her tears, though deeply personal, reflected a much larger issue that needed attention. Selena's breakdown also highlighted the critical role that celebrities and public figures can play in raising awareness about social issues. Celebrities, particularly those with large platforms, have the ability to reach millions of people, and their voices can influence public opinion in powerful ways. Selena, with her immense following, was able to shine a light on a topic that may not have been given the attention it deserved otherwise. In an era where public figures are often expected to remain silent on controversial issues, Selena's decision to speak out, especially in such a raw, emotional way, sent a clear message that silence was not an option. The breakdown was not just an emotional moment for her, it was a turning point that could spark greater conversations about the real human consequences of these policies. For many, it made the issue of deportation feel more immediate and personal. The fear of being separated from loved ones became more than just a distant political debate. It became a reality that millions could no longer ignore. Celebrities like Selena Gomez play an important role in shaping public conversations. While their fame often places them in the spotlight for their work in entertainment, they can also use that same platform to bring attention to causes they care about. Selena has long used her influence to advocate for mental health, women's rights, and immigrant rights. Her emotional response to the deportation issue was just one example of how she has leveraged her fame to make a difference. When Selena cried, she did so not just for herself, but for the countless individuals who had nowhere else to turn. Her vulnerability opened up a space for others to also express their anger, fear, and grief. By using her public platform, Selena was able to create a ripple effect, encouraging others to reflect on the policies, demand change, and take. The power of celebrities to influence change shouldn't be underestimated. Selena's actions reminded us that public figures, by speaking out about the issues that matter to them, can inspire others to do the same. Through her emotional breakdown, she made it clear that the fight for immigrant rights is not just a political issue. It is a deeply personal, human one. Her tears were a reflection of her love and empathy for the immigrant community, and they resonated with millions who felt the same pain and fear. In conclusion, Selena Gomez's breakdown in tears over the Trump administration's deportation efforts was a moment that captured the hearts of many, not just because of her fame, but because of the raw, authentic emotion she displayed. Her reaction was not just a personal expression of sadness, it was a powerful reminder that behind every immigration policy are real people with real lives. It was a call for empathy, compassion, and understanding in the face of an ongoing crisis that has affected millions. Selena's courage in speaking out has brought attention to the plight of immigrants, and it serves as an inspiration for all of us to continue fighting for justice, equality, and humanity. As we reflect on this moment, let us remember that it is not enough to simply acknowledge the pain of others. It is our responsibility to take action and work toward a future where families are not torn apart, where children are not left without their parents, and where we treat every person with the dignity. Thank you for joining me in reflecting on this critical issue. It is a reminder that our collective empathy and action are the keys to making a meaningful change in our world.